the production value keeps setting the bar higher. Last year was incredible. Yeah, the whole Elvis comeback special setup. What can people, can you give us a crumb as to what we can expect in tomorrow's preseason Hype Pod?
I have something better than a crumb, guys.
Yeah.
So we actually do have one more guest. We do have one more guest here, and I'm going to bring him on right now. The head coach of the Miami Hurricanes, Mario Cristobal.
Let's go.
Hey, Coach, welcome to HURRICADE 2025. We certainly appreciate you taking the time out to get this group of Canes fans excited. We got about 10,000 people on the stream right now, and thank you for delivering on being our headliner here of HURRICADE 2025, Coach.
No, I appreciate you having me on here now. We got some meetings going on right now. Just stepped out for a second, and it's an honor to join you guys, and let's roll, man.
Coach, I got to ask you, I've seen you at practice running from station to station. You look shredded. You look like Jack Briscoe in his prime. How important is it for the coaching staff to set the pace, set the tempo for this team?
I mean, it's easy to blow a whistle and stand there, and that doesn't inspire anybody, nor does it really teach anybody anything. Like, as a staff, you got to be able to run. You got to, stay yourself. You got to keep yourself in really good shape. You got to be able to demonstrate what you want the players to do in case, right, you got to go the extra mile and show them the detail of a technique or a fundamental. So, the staff there, they're avid lifters, runners, they know that we're going to get after it, man. That's the way we do it on Green Tree.
Coach, now I'm sure if you had it your way, nobody would have said a word for months on end about Carson Beck and his bounce back from injury. Hard to keep a secret that the zip is there. He's making the pro throws. He's everything he was advertised to be and probably more. However, I want to talk to you about Carson Beck, the young man. Right. I think people overlook how difficult of an offseason this is, changing schools, the narrative around his departure, a breakup, his car being stolen. A lot happened to Carson Beck in a congested amount of time, and that lined up with him making the life choice to transfer down here at Miami. I think people are probably assuming that's easy, and it's probably not. How have you seen the young man mature while he's been at the University of Miami, while he's dealt with these big life things that have gone on?
Yeah, honestly, he seems very unfazed by the external factors. I don't see him affected. He just strikes all of us as a guy that's very driven, very motivated, self-motivated to be the best he can be. And he's really driven to help Miami get better, to achieve that next step, that next level that we're striving for. So he's a real one, man. He's been awesome to be around. And, his talent, again, I'm never going to brag or over predict on a guy. You let the season unfold and take care of itself. We truly, we're really impressed with what we've seen with him or from him as a person, as a leader, as a competitor. I mean, he gets after it. And, as everything that we've been working on doing since we've gotten here is create a culture where people get after it. They work, they just push, they hold each other accountable, they hold themselves accountable. And man, he's an awesome fit, man.
Coach, your first press conference, you talked about bringing it in tight, right? You control a lot of things. There's certain things you can't control. The fan base, got a lot of fans listening here today. How important are they to not only create that environment that you got to experience in the Orange Bowl? We're talking a lot of Canes connection. I won't ask you about that specifically, but there's a lot of things that fans can do to bring it in tight and get this thing to the next level. So how important are they to everything that you are doing and busting your ass for in the Hecht?
Yeah, they're huge in it. We all know that. I mean, I always look at it this way. Mike Irvin was here yesterday. John Vilma spoke to the team on Sunday, and we dug deep. We all played here, right? We all have, I've mentioned the word before, we have multiple zippers on our bodies from surgeries, from, stuff that happens with football out there on Green Tree and how we laid it on the line. And with all that being said, there's a lot of principles and values that we learned back then that we've incorporated in our lives and everything we do. And that being said, we're never trying to take Miami backwards or back. We like those principles and values to just launch Miami forward. You know what I mean? Into present time in a modern day football, and making sure that parts of those blueprints are incorporated. And I know I've said it ad nauseum, but I'll say it again. Been away for 27 plus years before coming back. And I was just driven to the point where I was sick and tired of not seeing Miami rise. And I was sick and tired of seeing its own people, sometimes even getting after them. You know what I mean? Like that's never been part of being a Miami Hurricane. So when Miami comes together, it's the most unstoppable force. It really is. It's when the magic happens. I'm talking about everybody, community, fans, alumni, everybody. It's awesome. And we felt a lot of that really coming on strong last year. And we want to build on that and take it even higher. So we appreciate the support tremendously. It's obviously it's felt. The momentum is real. When you start, look at the recruiting classes that are coming together, you start just acknowledging the fact that our first recruiting class, they're only true juniors, and what's coming in and what's coming after. I mean, it's an awesome time to be a Miami Hurricane. So we really hope and expect people to be really fired up and excited and just flat out bring it.
Coach, year over year, you've looked at the football team and you've made the adjustments, right? And last year, every fan that's probably watching this at a certain point screamed to the heavens about what was going on defensively. You didn't just change the defensive coordinator, you reshaped that entire secondary and you brought in Motoré at linebacker. This is a real massive overhaul on the defensive side of the ball. That takes time to gel. How pleased are you so far with the progress that you've seen through spring and fall camps?
Yeah, there's been real progress, great progress. The fact that Coach Heatherman, he's a diligent, get after it grinder, and we've hired other people, and of course, retaining guys like Jason Taylor are critical because there is a foundation there with him and some of our players. So that combination, it works, it gels. They're like-minded folks that they know how important football is to the University of Miami and how much this program means to all of us. So they've come a long, long way. This is a very different style of football than we were playing a year ago. You know, last year we started off actually really good on defense. We lost our way. We lost our way completely after, you know, a couple injuries on the back end. And we just there's no excuse. Can't get there, you know. And I feel like we're finding our way into what Miami needs to be defensively. Very physical, you know, play with violence and physicality and swarm the football.
Last year, you guys were elite, if not the best in the country, short yardage, not having negative runs, and really just moving people forward. How important is that element of the game on Sunday to just old school physically dominate your matchup?
Well, I mean, games like this, you can expect a lot of those situations, and you have to self-scout yourself, right? People are going to see and study what you did. Fortunately, we have some really good analysts. We have some great coaches that they dive deep into self-scout and just finding the ways, how do you attack us in this particular part of our game, in this particular personnel group? And from that deep dive, we find a lot about ourselves, and we travel the country, both from an NFL visit standpoint and other college, you know, visit standpoints, that we gain a lot of just edges, right? We find ways to morph, to evolve, and just find more ways to be creative in the use of our personnel and our formations and our play, so that we can just get better. And we feel that we can, you know. Are we going to be a little bit different every year? Probably, right? Different players and whatnot. But the line of scrimmage, man, you know, we're playing a team with a great defensive front and a great offensive line and tight ends and linebackers and whatnot. So we expect a tremendously physical game, and we've been really working hard at becoming a physical team and gotten better. So, you know, let's go find out on Sunday.
Coach, you're a Miami Hurricanes lifer. You've heard the narrative around Hard Rock Stadium, how it's constantly compared to the Orange Bowl. The one bright spot in the history of the Miami Hurricanes football program at that stadium, the gold standard, was 2017 Notre Dame, where the crowd had its way with the Irish, and in turn, the football team did. What are you expecting on Sunday from this crowd at Hard Rock Stadium with a national holiday the very next day? What do we need to do to influence that game the way that we did in 2017?
Well, I mean, I don't ever like comparing teams to years and stuff like that. I know that like so many other ones, Coach Rick, them a historic night, great night for the University of Miami, and it's very well documented the impact that the crowd had. You know, for us, we stay focused on obviously the process and everything else. For everyone attending that game, without question, the history of the University of Miami in big time games and big time opportunities. You know, the Orange Bowl, Hard Rock, it's been an asylum. You know, it's been something that is memorable for everybody because they bring so much energy and they bring so much noise that they start to kind of realize, you know what, we can affect the game as good or better than anybody else in the country as fans. And that's what's wanted. That's what's expected. So let's do it.
Coach, real quick on a lot of these portal guys, it seems like they've embraced what it is to be a Hurricane. Keontae Scott told me on media day, he walks in there and he sees the All-American banners. Guys like Mo Torre seems to have embraced the history, what it is to be a Hurricane. How has that kind of happened so quickly with some guys who obviously have only been here for a few months?
I do think the culture has gotten better and better every year. I think the frequency which we have alumni swing by, share their experience, connect with these guys. You'd be surprised at how many former players, especially now through social media and being able to connect and DM and whatnot, how many guys actually connect with our current players to let them know that they are supported, to let them know that, hey, man, you're part of the brotherhood now, and that all it's going to take is all that you've got. And once you get in, introduced to Green Tree practice field, the level of intensity and work that we do, I think you start to, number one, respect the processes, respect the work there when you dive into the history, which we show them the history of Miami, a tremendous amount of honor and respect there. And I think when you want to be a part of it, once you feel it, once you see it, you want to be a part of it. There's only one way to be a part of it. That's to work your butt off. And we've been very fortunate with the transfers that we have brought in because, right, you're basically, you're bringing in a guy that you just, some you've recruited, so you know them, but others, I mean, you don't know the whole story. But we've been very fortunate, very diligent in our background checks and whatnot. And these guys, they want to win. They want to play great football, and they want to give everything they have for the University of Miami.
Coach, FIU, you start with Bowflex machines, get to a conference championship. Obviously, that was a building process. Oregon, right?
So, got a genuine chuckle on Bowflex.
that's right. I mean, that was there. Is that right?
Well, we had two rack. It was, I'll never forget, because we had a guy that you had to have an official visit. And so we were promised that the two racquetball courts would get gutted and that the glass would be removed and that we'd have state-of-the-art weight room. Well, that thing was enclosed in a chain link fence for about 2 years, man, with a couple of dumbbells and yes, a Bowflex.
There it is, baby. So win a conference championship with that situation. Oregon, much different, I think, from a facility standpoint, but different conference, different deal. End up winning the Rose Bowl, winning that conference twice. Here, you're now in year 4. A lot of investment of time, effort. I mean, the recruiting, the portal. How do you feel about where you're at in the process, and what is it supposed to look like having gone through those prior experiences when you get to that point where you take that conference?
We feel the reality that we have a strong trajectory and that we're going to stay relentless until we get there. And when we get there, we're just going to keep going and get better. We're built to get better year after year after year for the next several years because of recruiting and development, and it doesn't stop. We don't want to repeat history in the sense of get really good and then fall off. We want to be able to achieve high level success and then sustain it. That's what we want for the University of Miami. That's how I want to go to the grave one day, knowing that Miami is in the best place that it's ever been. And that takes work. You can't talk your way there. You can't post and tweet your way there. We've come a long way. We still have a long way to go. Opportunities are going to be right there in front of us. And brother, we work to a level that most people can never even fathom. And we don't want a pat on the back or a good job. We don't. You know what we want? We want to see Miami win at the highest level. We want to see Miami kick butt in the classroom and graduate at the highest level. Bring this community together. Like we all know when it comes together, the magic that comes with it. That's the obsession. That's the drive. That's the determination. That's it. It's that simple. That's the reason for coming back. That's the reason for putting everything else aside and making sure that we found our way back here to do it the way it's supposed to be done at whatever cost, whatever it takes. So all we want to do is shut our mouths and work our butts off, man. That's all we want to do.
Coach, you've been so gracious with your time, and I know it's a game week and you got a lot of prep that you have to do, so we'll let you go momentarily. But I got to say, we were talking about this on the show last week. This was really the first offseason where we weren't really saying a couple players here and there, like, man, if they put it all together, if he focuses on the game, it seems like you finally got the culture to where you were aspiring to back when you were highlighting guys like Mark Fletcher and Ruben Bain, guys that can help institute this culture change because it's not just on the coaches. Where are you at right now in terms of satisfaction with the culture change at the University of Miami? Is there still room to grow? I assume that you'd always say that, but it seems as though we've made some real progress in this regard.
Real process, stronger, and still lots of room for growth. It doesn't stop. They are really understanding. This group really understands. Like last year's group started introducing the understanding of legacy, right? And what that means. And I want to go back. I want to say it again, just these past couple of speakers, how they drove home what that truly means and how you achieve that. That stuff hits you right between the eyes. There's no BS, no fluff to it. And the more we get into that, the more we get into the work, the more we get into the accountability, the trust factor, and all that goes with it, brother, that's when, again, the chunks of improvement, the trajectory continues going up. There's no stopping. We gotta keep grinding and making sure we do everything we possibly can on a daily basis for the University of Miami Hurricanes.
Oof. There we go, baby. Coach,
You ready?
I'm ready for Sundays, but I'm ready for.
I'm ready. I'm about to run through a brick wall and rip some heads off.
Coach, appreciate you joining us. We are fired up. Again, we got a ton of Canes fans on. They're grateful you took the time, and
well, I'm grateful.
they got some work to do.
For you guys having me. I'm grateful for whoever was tuned in and whatnot. Know that you are appreciated big time. You really are. People that come out to any of our events out here, whether it be our football events, our games, basketball, whatever it may be. It's awesome because you know what? When we travel around the country and we're recruiting or whatnot, you know what we see? We see this everywhere. I'm talking about everywhere, you know, and we all know what happens when Miami catches fire, right? So let's crank it up, man, right? Let's all push forward. Let's just work. Let's just work. I appreciate you guys. Going back to
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Coach. Really appreciate Mario Cristobal taking the time out. We'd like to thank Agent Gorby, Agent Communication.
I am ready to pull an Owen Ruskovich and start taking tackle reps in the IPF. Man.
I would like to thank him for helping us out there with Coach Cristobal. We didn't want to put that one on the marquee. We were working on that one for quite some time. So thank you for everybody that was actually, and I see them in the chat. There were people that made the investment. Some people were camping out from 3 a.m. yesterday waiting for HURRICADE 2025, and we wanted that to be a nice little reward for everybody that hung with us along the way. Head coach Mario Cristobal here on the eve of this huge Week 1 matchup with Notre Dame, joining us here on CanesInSight.